Recently, we got the latest 16 inches Huawei laptop, MateBook 16s. Huawei finally kept up with the specs upgrade. Except for the 16s, MateBook D and 14 series also get upgrade. As we all know, last year's MateBook 16 is pretty good. It's quite a standout 16 inches laptop. So what's the upgrade in this gen? How does it perform? After this video, you will find the answer. Take a first look at the specs. Intel Core i9-12900H CPU, 14 cores and 20 threads. No DGPU. Dual-channel soldered RAM, LPDDR5, 4800 MHz, 16 GB. 1 TB Phison SSD, PCIe 3.0x4. I have never seen this model, probably an OEM model, and it has a 2520x1680, 100% sRGB, 60 Hz, 16 inches glossy touchscreen. About the price, the i9 and 1 TB version we got is at about $1,500. MateBook 16 still keeps concise style. All aluminum chassis, a big Huawei logo on the lid. The lid can be easily opened to 150 degrees. It has a 3:2 glossy touchscreen, with thin bezels around. There's a 1080p HD camera on the top, which also supports many features. For example, virtual background, center stage, and also personal voice enhancement, AI noise cancelling. Enough for homeworking and online courses. As for the base panel, 1.5mm key travel, no numpad. 2 rubber feet on the top and the bottom. On the left side, a USB-C port, a Thunderbolt 4, an HDMI and a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the right side, 2 USB 3.2 General 1 type of ports. So, what's your first impression of the exterior and specs? In my opinion, MateBook 16s has little change in general. It's still not very good value for money. If you don't have a deep pocket, maybe MateBook D16 is right for you. It also has a large screen, also all aluminum chassis. You will get the numpad. And affordable price. Let's get into the test. First, screen. Same panel as MateBook 16. Color volume, 93.0% sRGB. Color coverage, 92.1% sRGB. Average Delta E 0.92. Max, Delta E 3.33. Peak brightness, 327.5 nits. DC dimming. Black to white response time, 21.3 ms. Gray to gray, 36.3 ms. In conclusion, this is a tolerable screen in 2022. It remains 300 nits as the last general. Not friendly for outdoor works. The great parts are color accuracy and screen ratio. Good for office work or design. Besides, the touchscreen is a highlight. It's convenient with multi-screen collaboration. Expect for the eye-catching 16 inches screen. Another major selling points of Huawei MateBook is Super Terminal, which also called multi-screen collaboration. It can wirelessly connect Huawei devices like laptops and phones, and make them work collaboratively. For example, you can use Huawei MatePad as the second screen, or use MateBook 16s to control Huawei phones. Video calls and apps can all work simultaneously. And it's easy to operate. You just need to click the control center, then multi-screen collaboration, turn on and enter the Super Terminal. Finally, connect other devices to the laptop. This mainly breaks the boundaries between laptops and mobiles, which have different systems, making them work like one device. In my opinion, that's a really good sell point for Huawei devices. Many Chinese college students and businessmen have a set of Huawei devices. If they can build a software ecosystem, more and more people will choose Huawei devices. Next, we have performance test. First, CPU. It scored between 5,800 and 6,000 in Cinebench R20 loop test. In the first round, the CPU power has rocketed to 110 W, and then fell near 60 W. In the following rounds, the CPU ran up to 80 W, and fell between 60 to 65 W. In our test, the CPU basically stays above 90. As for the single-threaded, it scored 736 in Cinebench R20, much higher than 11th Gen Core. i9 definitely has an advantage on clock speed. For GPU, i9-12900H has an iGPU with 96 EUs. It scored 1886 in TimeSpy, 2827 in FSE, 1195 in superposition, a bit lower than Radeon 680M or MX 570. We tested Dota 2 and CSGO on it. At default 2.5 kelvins, even with LPDDR5, it's a challenge for an iGPU. But it's bearable at 1080p. CSGO, 197 FPS, DOTA 2, 66 FPS. It's okay for online games, but if your demands graphics performance, gaming laptops would be the better choice. But how about CPU? We also tested some productivity software. Adobe Photoshop 1003, which lives up the expectation. In 7-zip test, zip 94,000, unzip 102,000, but without DGPU, it only gets 326 on PR. After Effects test was failed to complete. The CPU performance is fine, but it's weak when it comes to GPU. It's hard to run software that demands GPU performance. Okay, next, disassembly. As similar as the last general, unscrew the base panel, and remove the bottom case with a suction cup. The 84 watt-hours battery is at the bottom. It lasted 9 hours in PC Mark 10. Pretty good for a 12th Gen Core laptop, but compared to the last general, it still go backward. SSD is in the middle. It comes with a Phison OEM SSD, PCIe 3.0x4. It's just average. The RAM has a shielding case, LPDDR5, 4800 MHz, 16 GB. And we found that the RAM layout is different from the usual. It seems like to be soldered on the motherboard through an adapter. As you can see from the benchmark, except for the LPDDR5 delay, the adapter doesn't affect too much. The last part, thermals. It has 2 fans and 2 heat pipes. The CPU is a bit right to the center on the motherboard. The empty slot for GPU has been removed. Not much change. A thermal pad on the CPU power supply part. We're gonna find out the thermal's performance through stress test. Room temperature, 23. Stress FPU. The CPU is stable at 92. Package power, 61 W. IA cores power, 56.9 W. Exterior temperature. The hottest key is the T, 43.1. Nice thermal insulation. As for the back, the hottest area, 43.6. Appears at the middle. You can use it on your laps. Noise level. Full load noise level, 44.6 decibels. It's relatively quiet. MateBook 16s has better cooling than last year. It ran up to 60 W in CPU stress test, above average. And it has a great exterior temperature and noise controls. Even under the full load, the noise is less than 45 decibels. Remember, this is a 60 WI9 processor. Few laptops can do that. In quiet places, like library and meeting room, you don't have to worry too much. Alright, I believe you have learned something about MateBook 16s. As usual, here we have 3 pros and cons for your reference. Pros first. Number 1. Great exterior temperature and noise level. MateBook 16's targets at businessmen. So quiet and cool is really important. Number 2. Good after-sales service. MateBook 16s come with a 2-year warranty, and door-to-door service in 2 years. It's quite high level, especially the door-to-door service. Number 3. Multi-screen collaboration. To break through the barrier between laptops and phones, from Huawei Share to Super Terminal, Huawei has kept working on phone-computer collaboration. After the pros, let's get down to the cons. Number 1. Not so surprising internal scalability. MateBook 16s has an irreplaceable RAM and only one SSD slot. For a 16 inches laptop, its scalability can't keep up with professional demand. Number 2. There are few choices of specs. MateBook 16s has choices on CPU, from i5 to i9, but all of them only get 16 GB RAM. So it definitely can't satisfy those who want a 32 GB and even 64 GB RAM, such as programmers, designers and creators. Moreover, there's no DGPU version. If you want great graphics performance, that's not enough. Number 3, it's quite heavy. As I guess, the all-aluminium chassis, and the glass touchscreen greatly adds weights to it. So it's not so friendly for those wanting a portable laptop. And there are lots of lighter 16 inches laptops. So with all that, I'll recommend it to office workers who don't usually move their laptops. If you need a 3:2 large screen laptop to write, design and present, and you rarely go on business trip or sometimes you have to, then it will suit you. Up to now, Huawei still faces challenges on PC production. But given this situation, Huawei keeps on upgrade their products. I hope Huawei can overcome difficulties and continues to prosper in this industry. That's all for this video. Likes, subscribes and thumbs ups if you enjoy this video. If you want to interact with us, please follow us on WeChat official account. I will talk about a laptop there every day. This laptop may be worth it or not, but all we want is to provide info and guidance. This is BIBA Laptops. I'm Jawan. See you next time. Bye.